Hello. So, today I wanted to talk about this exhibition where I went recently. It was in the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, which is also known as PAFA, and it's actually the first art school in US. So, in this exhibition, I took this picture like of two visitors in this exhibition, and I really liked this picture with this whole theme that it is about belonging. Like the one thing about art exhibitions is that like I see a lot of people from different type, like different races, different ages, and also like different abilities. Like they all go there and then like they all enjoy art. I really like this. So I felt like a kind of belonging with this picture. So anyway, so this exhibition was about three women artists, and they were active even before the Second World War. All of them were like they studied in West Coast and like in California in two different art schools. And what happened is during the Second World War, their lives really changed. So if you know, there was this like after the Pearl Harbor, the government actually made like some rules and regulations, and they had a law that like a lot of um like Japanese Americans that they had to move to different camps so that like the government's idea was that like so that they cannot do any sort of like violence or anything, but like the thing is like I knew about this from a novel like which was Snow Falling on Cedars, and it was also about the same story like how a family like they get detached from their own lives, their own like property, everything, and suddenly like from being in a very well established life, like suddenly they become very like distressed and detached and everything. So anyway, I wanted to go through like the pictures that I really liked about this exhibition, and I was so the funny thing I say would be that so this exhibition was curated, and how this exhibition was set, it was actually chronological. So from one side of the gallery, like how like their work like before the war, during the war, and post war. And I I actually didn't know that, and I actually started the exhibition on the other way. So like I actually saw their paintings which were post-war, then during war, and then I saw, so I was trying to understand like in a backward manner. So in this video, I also wanted to like go with my own journey, that like how I felt, what I felt. So that's why like I also wanted to organize that how I was visualizing the whole idea. So anyway, so the first thing that I really loved was this painting. This is by Hisako Hibi, and like so this is called Eternal Seasons, and this is one of like her very late paintings. So they all had pretty long lives. And then like they were active, and so she had different styles throughout her career. And then this one, if you see, this more like an abstract, but like also like very like Japanese like way of drawing, like Japanese printmaking. If you know, like it doesn't have like a spatial structure, like you have like different stories going on in different parts of the painting. And then if you see like it's a season, like you can see this is like if it's the sun, and there's like all the seasons and going through and everything. And then you'll see like very tiny characters here, and they're like maybe they're like two lovers. There are some people like walking, and there are like these leaves, the birds, and everything. It's a very beautiful painting. Like if you go through all of these details and see the stories, it's a very beautiful painting. So her own Japanese printmaking idea, like added with the abstract colors and shapes, and it's a very beautiful painting. So like, and this painting told me that like at the end of her life, she was like she has seen enough, she has known enough. And then now she was telling us like in the writing that to get to the spring you really need to go through the winter, right? So like how she is hopeful about her future afterlife or something. It was a very beautiful like thing. So like just starting with this painting, I knew that like they had a lot of experiences. And then this was by Mine Okubo. And then like this is about like her time at the camps in Europe. And then what I really liked is like she is very famous for her book, like this graphic novel, which is called Citizen 13660. You can see it was their identity. So like suddenly from people and everything, you just become number, right? And those camps had like a lot of issues. Like suppose it was a very deserty area, like they were in California, and like suddenly they are in the deserts of Utah, and then it was like harsh and cold and windy and dusty, and you can see like how they're trying to like swipe up, and then like how the like situation of the restrooms, and like this was like always they were like being like interrogated, and like they were peeping inside their homes and everything. So this was like in this exhibition. It was going on in a digital video kind of thing, like suppose like a in a TV screen, like all the pictures were going one by one, and you can just sit like stand there and then see it. And like I really liked all of the pictures. I took these ones from internet, but like she really portrayed in a very like you can see like how normal this like how like minimal these paintings are, like they're like drawings. And she did the like she also taught drawing in her camp time. And so I can go on, but like I think you can just see how she portrayed their lives, right? So next one, at the post-war, Mineokubo says that she really came back to like almost like she has forgotten whatever she has drawn before, and then like now she came back to very basic forms. Like you can see here, this was named like I stood in front of this painting for a long time. This is like a boy and a rooster and a cat. I was trying to understand which is the rooster and which is the cat. And I felt that like all the shapes, like all the round shapes, the colors, like how beautifully she put together. And then this mother and child picture really told me that in all art forms and everything, all the European art scene, as I was seeing like for a long time, you'll see that like the facial structures have a very distinct like way, because like we are looking at very Caucasian idea of faces, right? But how she portrayed like a round shape, that's a very Asian shape. And then like we also exist, as if she is telling us with these paintings, like the colors. And they're very minimal color. There are maybe like four colors in this, but like the facial structures really caught my eye. And I think she was also trying to show the same thing in this idea that it's really human being or anything. I really don't know what, but I really liked like how she um made the abstract out of like the, I don't know. I just really love these paintings, I guess. But they were also telling that like how they are trying to come back to colors, to lives, to like things and motifs, but their experiences were still there. But I still don't know what their experiences are, right? Like I'm seeing the exhibition from backwards. So again, this is another like story. So Hisako Hibi, after they were in the camp, like she, her husband, like they had kids, and then like her brother as well. Yes. So after that, they had to move to New York. Like they were forced to move to New York, and then like they, you can read it here. But when she came to New York, and then like they didn't have a lot of like work or anything, but you can see like when I looked at this picture, I can tell like you can see how she picturized New York. Like it was a, like she was in California and then she had to be in Utah and suddenly she has to live in the middle of Hell's Kitchen, and then like she is drawing like the um buildings like so tall, and you can see here this is a mother and a child, and then there are like nuns, and there is also like a woman in her very bright dresses and everything, and you can tell like there's a lot of things going on, and this is a very frightful scene for her. You can see here that she and her daughter, and I think like her husband also passed away at that time, like he also had cancer, and so, and I was just mesmerized that like she had nothing to paint on, like nothing to draw, like nothing beautiful is going on, but still she hold like she held onto like whatever she could find. Like the colors are just like very frightening. So I think these are horses, and like I don't know, it. I really loved this painting, like how she was still trying to like hold on to her work. So, and now I went to the next scene, like right now she is like drawing her life in the camp, and then she was saying like there were a lot of clouds, so she would just draw a lot of clouds, right? And like you can see very minimal form, and at this time her work was very much like the impressionist. I think she was mentioning uh Cezanne, I guess. So like her work is very much like Cezanne's work. And then like you can see those camps here and how like vast and like barren the lands are. And this is winter, and also she was talking about the very bright sky, like Utah's like mountains. There were one like train coming in, which she's seeing from this angle, and then she and her daughter are seeing people going to work and everything in their uniforms. So again, she is in a camp. Like these are paintings I think she like painted later in her life, but like all the things she was trying to remember, or like, or probably during the like, so the story is like, I think what really caught my eye in this exhibition is whatever is going on in your life, like you still can make it art, right? Like Sometimes like when she is very sad and angry, maybe like her colors get darker. Sometimes she still has some hope when she looks at the clouds, or sometimes like the red just frightens her, or like there's no color, like you can see there's only gray in this picture. So every one of those is telling like her mind, right? So I still haven't met her yet, but now she's also talking about a little bit of hope, that like, hey, there were some good vegetables, right? Like we used to grow some vegetables, and then like you can see a flower, like, and she's just drawing vegetables and whatever they could produce and everything. So she never lost hope. I just felt like that. Or maybe she did, but at some point in her life, she was like, okay, I overcame that. So, like, I can also look at the bright side. So, now this painting really told me, like, actually, the picture really told me what was going on. You can see here, like, they're waiting for a bus that will take them, and you can see her daughter, like the little beautiful kid, and she and her husband both were artists, and like there were also paintings pre-war where they would just like draw their daughter like a very cheerful girl working, like doing her homework and stuff like that, and suddenly they're waiting for a bus to go to a camp and no one knows where. And she was very afraid because like her children were like Japanese Americans, but they had no idea. And so you can see, just look at her, that now she is only a mom, like she is not even thinking about her anything, she's just like, what is gonna happen? So, and she's still like holding on to her doll. So you can see her like here, and like the mom, and like this painting is called Mother and Child, and they're just walking through the place, and like she was saying like how hard the mother's life was there. So the novel I was talking about also like touches upon on those subjects, and like, and seeing this like in front of your eyes really tells you that like suddenly, like for a war, for some suspicion, for something, like in your own country you get like suffocated, and like it's really hard. So anyway, and then finally I met Nikki uh, Hayakawa and like her portraits. So Nikki was not in the camp, so she was in the, like when the war started and everything, she was able to move to New Mexico, and she didn't have to go to the camps, but the war definitely had an impact on her. You can see like her portraits were very powerful in some kind, like how not just the 3D element but the colors, like the eyes. I don't know what was about the eyes. Maybe because none of her portraits were actually looking at the viewer. You can see like maybe hers, but still like their eyes have something, like, I don't know, they're looking so far, they're so distant, and it's not just a age thing. Like you can see like this boy or this girl, or like they're young, but like what is, like, what has happened? So I don't know, but like I felt that her portraits were really powerful. And then when I went to their like pre-war work, then I was really mesmerized. They were really different people back then. So before the war, like this is Anike Okubo's like work, Mine Okubo's work, and you can see like this is like a Japanese woman on tempera, and this is very like she's showing their identity, their like dresses, their like the bow, like the rose and everything, the eyes, the hair, the everything. It was just so like bright, and the facial structures, everything, and even like every one of their work was like somehow like they're still learning, they're still, but the war really made them draw something totally different. Suppose this one was before the war, and this is one of the work that Mina was able to like keep with her, and this is like Miki's work, and like I think this was her boyfriend at that time in the college, and you can see like he's not looking at us, but there are these beautiful like big like flowers, and how relaxed he is. Also like these oranges and everything, or apples, I don't know, but the color, the everything is just so beautiful that like, hey, this is like a full life, this is a happy life. And right after the war started, their work changed, their like experiences changed, and I already showed you backward like how the, like everything changed. So yeah, I was supposed to like actually start from this and go there, but I really wanted to take you with me on my journey, that how I saw the like how I understood the exhibition in a my way. And I think like sometime like watching something backward really helps you to understand something in a different way, that like, okay, what was the outcome, and then you go through their journey, okay, what happened, and then you was like, okay, now it all makes sense. So yeah, so I think this was it for now, and I just hope that like there's no war happens, nothing happens, but I don't know, probably it's too much to ask in this world. So bye.